Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I'm going to talk about the month of February, and what I have today is I'm going over each day of the month, but right now I'm going to be talking about the first week, February 1st through the 7th. So before I get going, please, I want to remind everyone that I'm starting semester 1 with the University of Vedic Astrology February 7th. This is the best day of the month. So I'm going to be talking about why it's such a wonderful day astrologically. But if you've always wanted to learn Vedic astrology, here's the answer, and now's the time. So check it out. Go to my university website and be part of the university and become my student. So go to universityofvedicastrology.com. Now let me look up here at my computer and go day by day and inform you of what you need to be aware of from day to day for this beautiful month of February. And February this year has 29 days. So this is an extra day that we're here to talk about. So February 1st, the moon will be in Libra. And it will enter Libra around 3 a.m. Central Standard Time. But during this day, the moon is opposed Jupiter, and that's always a good thing, especially for love and romance. This is the time to express your feelings of love and compassion and really pay attention to your partnerships, because this is the best day to communicate your feelings with them. So another thing that's going on this day is Mercury just entered into Capricorn. Capricorn is a much more serious sign for Mercury to be involved in. And a lot of the planets are focalizing into the sign of Saturn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So what does this mean? There's more of a focus on career, business, social standing, and most of all, because this is a sign of government and government affairs of all kinds, you're going to see around the world that things around the government, laws are going to be changing, and there's going to be a lot more focus in this area. So the nakshatra that the moon is going to be in is Chitra, and Chitra is the bright and shining one. It is ruled by Mars, so it is a very engaging, energetic nakshatra. So it's going to be in Chitra till about 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And around 4 p.m., it's going to move into the nakshatra called Swati. And Swati is the nakshatra that deals with the way we communicate. It's actually ruled by Rahu, so it is intense, but this nakshatra symbol is a blade of grass that blows in the wind. And basically what it symbolizes is having a handle and a focus on communications, because with this grass being able to go with the wind, that means that people will be using their communications pretty much to sometimes manipulate and control others. So pay attention if you see any activity like this. And this is also an advantage for you to be able to communicate better with the moon moving into the nakshatra Swati. Many talk show hosts have planets in this nakshatra because it is a very persuasive nakshatra when it comes to the communications and how we use our voice and our tone to get our message across to people. So as I'm looking, we have Mercury and the Sun will be in the 4th house from the moon. So this is the time that you can pay attention to your home, your family, visit to your mother. And if your mother's not around, you'll have memories of her, possibly dreams. But be aware that this is a very potent time for relationships, because actually we have Venus and Mars transiting together, and these are the planets that deal with love and relationships, making peace and getting our point across to people in a very harmonious way. So this is a very good day, I want to say, for relationships. Now let's move to the next day. We're going to go to the 2nd. And let me change the day here. So February 2nd, the moon will still be in Libra, and it will be in Libra all day. And don't forget, Libra is the sign of what? Relationships. So we have this opposition still with the moon opposing Jupiter. And this makes for a great day for communications. But as the day goes on, it's going to start, the moon is going to start to oppose Uranus. And this will make things a little bit unsettled. There will be more of unpredictable behavior around the corner with people. You're going to see most people are fickle. They change their mind because Uranus is the planet of changes. Now, the moon is going to be in Swati until around 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And it's going to change at this time into the nakshatra called Vishaka. Vishaka means the undefeated one. And this is a great moon to put your best foot forward to achieve things, because this gives a much more determined will and willpower that's out in the air. People are more apt to get what they want when the moon is in Vishaka. And Vishaka its symbol is a triumphal archway, meaning success. But all at the same time, it is ruled by Jupiter. And this is another thing that makes it a positive day for moving things forward, getting things done, and focusing in on the things you want to achieve, your goals, your aspirations. This is a great day for this. Now, Mercury is in Capricorn with the Sun, and it's approaching Pluto. So be aware that there is a seriousness in the way people are expressing themselves and feeling. We still have Mars and Venus together in Sagittarius, and I must say they are third from the moon, so it's a good day for self-expression. Especially remember, this is also a great day to express yourself in the area of relationships. Now let's move forward to February 3rd. February 3rd, the moon is going to change out of Libra, and it's going to move into Scorpio. So it will move into Scorpio 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon, Central Standard Time. And the moon in Scorpio is debilitated. And the moon is going to be the way we're feeling, the way people express themselves. It's a sense of your sensitivities. And in Scorpio, people become really strange. They become a little bit more defensive, can I say? And most of all, not only are they defensive, but the whole time the moon's in Scorpio, people are a little bit revengeful and I gotta say jealous. So there's jealousy that seems to be all around in the world. Be careful of your relationships, because jealousy is never a good thing in relationships, especially with friendships. Be aware of that. So the Mars-Venus are actually in the 2nd house from the moon, which means this is an okay day for spending and finances, although Mars will make you spend more, but Venus will make you bring in more money. So probably this is a day where easy come, easy go, money going in, money coming out. Mercury, Sun are in the 3rd house from the moon, so it's a good day for the written word. Now, it's a good day to send emails, to express yourself, but remember not to be overly intense with feeling and emotion, because the moon in Scorpio does tend to bring that out in everyone. Jupiter is in the 6th house from the moon, so it's a good day to get some work done. It's a day to put your nose to the grind and don't be overly sensitive or emotional. Now, because Jupiter is in the 6th house, it's a good day to work on health and healing, our exercise patterns, but most of all, pay attention to what you're eating. It can be a day that you decide to change your eating habits, to eat more healthy. Jupiter does sit in this 6th house of nutrition and health, and it rules the 2nd house of what we consume. So it's a wonderful day to really look into diet and nutrition. Now, close to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, the moon will move from the nakshatra Vishaka into the nakshatra called Anuradha. And Anuradha is the nakshatra of friendship. And I think it's kind of odd because the moon still is in Scorpio. But this can mean a healing of relationships in terms of your friendships. So use this day accordingly. Listen and open up to what your friends are trying to tell you. Don't be trying to judge or to consume the conversation. Just listen. That's what this is good for. Let's move this to February 4th. So February 4th, we still have the moon all day is going to be in Scorpio. But it is going to change nakshatras, but late in the day. And that's going to be 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So most of the day, the moon will be in Anuradha, which is a friendly, calm, nice nakshatra, helps us relate better to our friends and form new friendships. But look out when it goes into Jesta, which is 8:30 p.m. But remember, tomorrow, we're going to talk about that. It will be in Jesta. So after the moon goes into Jesta, be sure not to be too abrasive. Jesta does deal with attacks, basically verbal attacks, because Mars is in the 2nd house from the moon, meaning watch what you say. Watch what you say, because this is a time that you could say the wrong things at the wrong time. And remember, the moon in Jesta will have so many repercussions around jealousy and emotional situations that you don't want to get involved in. So be careful. It's still a wonderful day to look into diet, nutrition, taking care of yourself, because most of the day the moon is still in Anuradha. Let's move this forward to the 5th of February. Now, the 5th of February is intense because Mercury is exactly conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. So we're going to find some intense feelings around the workplace. People in government, politics is going to be intense. There's going to be so much being said out there that is very manipulative and controlling, because that's what Pluto is. And it is on top of Mercury, which rules our communications. So be aware that people are trying to control. And all of the day today, we have the moon in Scorpio, in the nakshatra Jesta. Now, it's going to stay in the nakshatra Jesta almost all day. It will change out into the nakshatra Mula And when the moon goes into Mula, it also goes into Sagittarius. So just enters into Sagittarius and into the Nakshatra Mula around 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. But for the most part, the moon is in Jyesta. And Jyesta is that really dark nakshatra. And as the moon towards the end of the day is in Jyesta, right before it goes into the sign of Sagittarius and the Nakshatra Mula, don't forget the moon is what we call Gandanta, which means what? Gandanta means out of control. So the moon in the last degree of Scorpio, last few degrees, can be so intense. It deals with jealousy, retribution, and most of all, it deals with the stinger of the scorpion. So that can mean people will be mean, can try to sting you, get back at you. Just take this day easy. Look at what you can learn about yourself today. Don't take things to heart of what other people are saying, because people are frustrated and people are angry. And Venus now, interestingly enough today, Venus is all by itself in the second house from the moon. So we can use this day for our speech. And it is a good day to come together with family. But Mars today has just changed into Capricorn, where it's going to be for about the next 6 weeks. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. That gives it great energy. And being in the third house from the moon gives you incredible willpower and drive. So all the things that you've been procrastinating about, now is the time for the next 6 weeks while we have Mars in Capricorn to get things done. As it is exalted in the sign, it gives Mars great power and ability. Mars is action. Mars is willpower, courage, but all at the same time, it can intensify people's feelings because Mars does deal with anger. It's very fiery. And for the most part of this month, Mars is approaching Pluto. So be careful. And another thing is, you might find that it's a good day to start traveling, moving forward. But I think it's mainly a time for you to exert your will in the area of your goals, your ambitions, and your drives. This is a fantastic day for this. But we're going to talk about what the moon and being in Mula and in Sagittarius is going to mean, because at 8 p.m., it's going to move out of Scorpio and into the sign of Sagittarius. So now let's look at the next day we have ahead for us, the 6th of February. February 6th, we have the moon, of course. Now it's going to be in Mula in Sagittarius, and it is approaching Venus. Lovely day for creative work. But most of all, I love the moon while it's in Sagittarius because Jupiter is aspecting it from Aries. So we've got this gorgeous trinal aspect of Jupiter to the moon while the moon is moving towards Venus. So the moon is surrounded or being aspected by the two most powerful benefics. So I'm going to call February 6th and February 7th the best days of the entire month because of this beautiful trinal aspect. Whenever the moon is surrounded by benefics, aspected by benefics, it gives a good feel. People are happy, people are optimistic, and the moon with Venus brings peace and love into our lives. Now, Venus being in the nakshatra Purva Ashada, and the moon still in Mula. Purva Ashada is about truth finding. It's about speaking the truth and being the truth, and spirituality as well. But the moon still being in Mula today, it's not quite as good as the next day is going to be. Mula is a nakshatra that can deal with destruction and clearing things out. Although being with Venus, this will be clearing things out for a positive cause and realization. So we also have Saturn. Saturn is in the 3rd house. You might find that you have some disruption from maybe brothers and sisters if you have some. But most of all, it's a day where you're probably going to not be going places, stay home, because Saturn is in the 3rd house of travels. But Jupiter being in the 5th house from the moon, this is a day to be creative and expressive and study new things. Sagittarius, the moon in Sagittarius. This is about studying new things. Now, another thing is on the 6th, let's see, Venus does sit, this is interesting, exactly at the midpoint of Rahu and Ketu. So this is the funnel, and the focus of today is about love, relationships, and everything to do with Venus energy, which is our creative power. So this is a focus. Now, the moon will be leaving the nakshatra Mula and will move into the nakshatra Purva Ashada around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So this will be much better. Mula's still a kind of iffy nakshatra because it is ruled by Ketu and represents destruction. But when the moon goes into Purva Ashada, this is beautiful because Purva Ashada is ruled by Venus and the moon is going to conjunct Venus. This is a beautiful day for self-expression, for love, romance, harmony, creativity. So what am I talking about? I'm talking of, let's move to February 7th, because in the evening of the 6th, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time is when the moon changes into this glorious nakshatra that is ruled by Venus. So now let's look at February 7th. So much is going on, and you'll realize why I chose this day to start my university. Why? Because the moon is conjunct Venus. And at the same time, Venus and the moon are being exactly aspected by Uranus. Uranus is the planet of astrology. But aside, if you're not interested in learning astrology, but if you are, remember my class starts this day. But if astrology is not where your head's at, it's about change, and it's Venus. So this is beautiful, progressive changes that need to happen. It's about looking towards the future, finding facts, and being more futuristic, and looking at new ways that we can create in this world with Uranus-Venus in an exact trine today. And aside from this being my very favorite day of the month, you're also going to find that Uranus is exactly squaring the sun. Now, this can be a time of forced change, definite resistance to change, but it is a day that things will change because of this square. And once again, Uranus is in a powerful position this day, being trine Venus and square the sun. So this is a day that you'll see some radical shifts and changes happen for the betterment. And most of all, the feeling around today will be optimism, happiness, love, affection, and creativity, because Venus is being aspected by Jupiter, the great optimist, and Venus and the moon are exactly conjunct in the nakshatra at Purvashada and the sign of Sagittarius, which is all about finding truth and all about learning and looking towards the future in a positive way. So with that, I am closing for the first week of February. A lot is going to happen. So get ready and look forward to my next videos on the following week of the 8th through the 14th of February. And with that, remember, look into my Patreon, joining my Patreon, if you want to come together with me on a weekly basis where you can ask me questions, get to know each other better, and communicate on a far more exclusive level. So with that, go to my website, galacticcenter.org, and sign up for my Patreon, and we will talk. Thank you.